All right, I got Joey joining me today. Today we're going to talk about Attitude Check 12, car, truck, and motorcycle show. So Joe, this is your 12th year for the event.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into the dates, times, registration. Just the one of the biggest reasons I wanted to sit down with you is it's an experience. It's not just a show. It's literally a week-long event, correct?
Yeah, I tell a lot of people it's the biggest 7-day, 1-day show you'll ever see. And it throws them for a whirl because they're like 7-day, 1-day. Well, the duration of the show is on Saturday. That's when we do awards, raffles, 90% of the judging, everything. But we open the gates for everybody come Monday morning. When I get there to start setting up, I open it up for everybody. Just because we host camping, we have RVs that I have to put in place. It's a lot easier to get the RVs set Monday through Wednesday than it is Thursday when traffic's trying to roll in. Like the first couple of years I was at this piece of property, I really struggled everything because it was like everything got laid on us all in one day on Thursday. So that's why I moved the show. I was like, cool. Somebody made the joke about, hey, you should do a week long. And I was like, you know what? That's actually a good idea. Let's do it. My wife hates it.
It's a lot of work.
It's all good. We used to stress ourselves super hard because it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. So I'd get off Thursday night at 6:00, and then here we are trying to pack everything in before Friday morning, and it just wasn't working, man. We were working ourselves to death. We were super stressed beyond our means. So I was like, okay, cool, let's add an extra day. So we started the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, people showed up on Wednesday. I was like, okay, cool, I'll open Wednesday. People showed up Monday. I was like, okay, cool, then this is what we're doing. We're going to run a week long. So the way we do things is Monday through Wednesday is kind of getting where you fit in. As vendors are rolling in and campers are rolling in, I'm there placing them. We place the vendors. I have somewhat of a plan of attack, but I kind of just go with the flow as people are coming in because in the years prior, I've made all these extravagant plans to try and get everything ready and then people not showing up. So then that throws a wrench in the works. So I've got it now. We have a huge enough property. We run on a 120-acre piece of property. We utilize roughly 55 to 60 acres of it.
Yeah.
But there's ATV trails all over the property. That's, that goes all into the experience because there's something to do. It's not like you just show up, sit in a stagnant parking lot. Nothing against any shows like that. But like I spent the lighter part of 15 years traveling around, going to shows all over the U.S. And I looked at a lot of these shows and I was just like, man, I want to do this, but I don't want to do this. I was, I beat myself up for quite a few years trying to figure out, what can we do to be different? And then
Absolutely.
I found Camp and Drag, and oh my God, my mind was absolutely blown. I've only been going to Camp and Drag for 2 years now, but it's everything that I wished our event was, but we just don't have the actual open cruising. That's why we have open for the mini bikes and stuff like that, mini bikes, golf carts. I try to tell the guys with the high-powered four-wheelers and the side-by-sides, it's probably not the place. Come out, have fun, but, those guys get a little carried away, which I'm one of those guys. We have fun.
Yeah.
But but like I was back to it, Monday through Wednesday, we set up, get everything set. Come Thursday is when everything really starts to kick off. The local club, or they're really not local, they're a US-wide Twisted Concepts Virginia chapter.
Mm-hmm.
They do a huge catered barbecue for everybody on site. So I think we fed 250 people last year.
Oh,
They did like 100 pounds of pork. My mom and my family, we put all kinds of sides together, and we just break bread Thursday afternoon as a community.
And that's a part of it. That's all free.
Oh yeah, that's all included.
Wow.
Like our registration, we only charge. It's a $40 registration,
Mm-hmm.
which I go to some shows that are $100 bill registration, and I get it. And the scope of doing this, you have to pay the bills. If you go broke every year doing an event, you won't do it long. And I've told people many times that have talked to me about wanting to get into shows, you better love it. If you don't love it with everything you have, you're not going to be doing it long. It's just the fact of it. And then, I've tried to redirect a couple guys that are like, I'm just doing this to try to give back. Giving back is 100% the reason why we do this, but you have to pay the bills. You have to pay the bills. You have to somewhat pay yourself for all the time that you put in, and you've got to build an overhead for the next year, or once again, you just won't be doing it. It's hard, unless you're going to sit there for hours and hours and hours and beat people down on emails looking for sponsors and all this, great. I have a huge support system. We get tons of sponsors throughout the year, and I am absolutely blessed. But it's a lot of work. A lot of people don't realize, cool, you do a show for a weekend. It takes a whole year of planning to get ready for that 1 week that we host the show. So then back to I get sidetracked a little bit easier.
No, it's all good. No, it's all good.
But back to Thursday after we do the barbecue, you know, everybody just hangs out on the property, and the property's open for everybody and anywhere. Anything on the property you want to go see, you're more than welcome to.
Free to spectators as well?
Yeah, spectators are free. The only thing we do is we charge $10 parking per car load. You know, and that's just the property owner. That's something he requested, you know, to catch on the back end, which I get it. But, you know, we don't charge spectators. So if you pack 15 people in a car, there's only one charge for those people.
Nice.
And we invite the spectators to hang out and enjoy everything that we do. Because after Thursday, Friday, we do, you know, the day goes on. We're still placing vendors. We're placing RVs and getting everything set up in the field. Then Thursday evening, we have a low-car limbo. We do a cornhole tournament, and I get 60-some pizzas from the local pizza joint. Delicious pizza. And everybody breaks bread again on Friday night. You know, we all hang out, eat pizza. We have the limbo. Watch the videos from the limbo. I normally do a live every year while we're doing the limbo, and it's awesome. We're normally down there for a few hours.
And it's all a part of the event, the pizza.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything is part of it. It's all one fee. A lot of people were like, well, what does this cost? And what does this cost? Nothing. It's $40 at the gate, and you get everything we have. And, you know, nice. I don't want to try to cut anybody out of anything.
Yeah.
And then Saturday morning, it's crazy out there. You know, Saturday morning, people are rolling in, you know, because we get a lot of one-day hangouts, which is no problem at all. You know, you get a lot of these older guys with the hot rods. They're not really in tune with the camping out and all that. So, hey, we offer it. Come on out, hang out with us. And then come Saturday afternoon, we usually start awards and raffles about 5 o'clock. We congregate around the stage. It normally goes on till about 7. You know, because our raffles and auctions, we raffle a lot of stuff every year.
Nice.
I get a lot of really cool stuff. Like my tool guy, Mark Breeden, I don't know if he's going to get to see this, but Mark Breeden hooks us up every year with Mako tools. Like this year, Max, I don't know if you know the artist Max Grundy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, well, they just released a limited edition toolbox through Mako Tools, all Max Grundy themed with his artwork and everything. Mm-hmm. We got one we're raffling at the show this year.
Really?
Yeah, it's a $3,000 toolbox.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's insane.
Yeah, and we're raffling it. $1 a ticket. Come up there and get your tickets.
Make sure you give me a list of all the vendors and everything, like all the awards. I'll make sure I include that in here as well. In the description, you know, I'll put all that in there so folks have information.
Awesome.
How many campers do you guys get?
Well, we have there's 160 RV spots that are utilizable on the property. But then that would cause camping to be on the show field, what we use as show field. So I limit it to 60. Okay. So the way the property is, there's a little road that separates show field from camping. Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys just hit RV share up, and which is a lot easier. You know, by the time you pay for hotel rooms and all the other jazz, it's just as cheap to have an RV dropped. You show up to the show, your RV is already set, air conditioning's already running. You just go in and drop your bags. You know, and that's one of the things that I make sure I do, because a lot of people don't get there until Thursday, Friday, but their RVs are already set Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. And, you know, I just have their keys for them. They just find me and I hand them the keys so they can get in.
That's cool.
Like I say, we use the 60 spots. That way, I just try not to keep any camping around show vehicles. You know, after hours and stuff like that, we party. We have a good time. I don't want somebody to stumble over somebody's real nice vehicle, and then we have to answer with it the next day. So we separate it, but it's really not that separate. You can sit on the front porch of your RV and look at the show field the entire time.
That's cool. Yeah, you're right there.
Man, we have so much shade and tree cover too. A lot of guys don't even have to pop canopies because you can post up underneath one of the shade trees.
There's a waiting list. I take it for the RV for the spots.
So the way I do it, if you had an RV spot the year prior, come November, I think normally Black Friday is when we put the RVs up. You know, I give everybody first refusal. If you don't want your RV spot, then I go to the next people in line that have been waiting.
Makes sense.
But yeah, well, it's just one of those things. You know, we've had guys that have been out with us every year, and I don't want to be like, well, you can't get your spot this year, and you know, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Not just, you know, as the guy that's promoting, but as a consumer too. It would be like, oh man, well that sucks. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, I give everybody, hey, if you had your spot, make sure you remember what plug number you were on, and that's your plug for the next year. If you don't want it, then we're going to go ahead and pass it along down the line.
Is there a long list?
It's not a very long list, but I've got probably about 10, 15 people in idle that are chomping at the bit to try and get
a decent amount. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I also tell people, if you can't get a powered spot and you have a generator that runs your setup, we have enough room to get you out there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, it's the convenient factor of having the 30 and 50 amp hookups and water already set up, you know. But the other guys, if they come out with a generator. We'll get them water. That's not a problem. I have a pool company that brings about 4,000 gallons of water on hand for us every year, just in case. Like last year, we had a little bit of a drought, and most of the property works off of a well system water table. So water table was super low last year, and there's a pond on the back, retention pond at the back of the property. I should have took a clear indication seeing that and been like, oh man, we're going to have water issues. But bounce back real quick. I work with a couple different pool companies because I work in a wrap shop, so we wrap them. So I was able to call those guys, and they zipped right out there, and we filled the well back up. So,
nice.
Anytime a problem arises, we try to handle it quick, fast, and in a hurry, so it's not an issue.
Yeah, I mean, with a 12-year show, you guys have it that the process is down pretty much, right? I mean, you've learned over the years.
100%. Now, in COVID, we had to move our venue. Now, we were at a cool little campground. Of course, the campground started getting a little trashy towards the end. What they considered weeklies turned into be monthlies and yearlies. Guys that we would see in their 5 and 6 years going, what they were weekly. So it wasn't really a problem, but we were outgrowing the property as it was. Like that property there on that campground is probably a third of what we have to use now.
Wow.
Yeah, the last year of the event there, we were packed in. And then when COVID happened, we were a month out from the show and they canceled on us. So I had, within like a month before the show, I had to move venues, get the addresses changed. It was a hassle, but that was probably our biggest year yet. Like, it was insane. I thought for sure if something was going to bury us as an event, I thought it would be COVID, having to switch the venues.
For sure.
No, man, we jumped over our numbers completely, and we haven't turned back since.
Awesome. That's good.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. The property that we use, it's just so nice, man. Like, if you know the show is going on there, you don't know the show is going on there. We're just far enough off the road where nothing is seen. No one complains about our noise. Well, we had one person complain noise-wise 4 years ago. I had to go in front of the board of supervisors, but we were within regulations, so they were just like, we dismiss this.
Nice.
Yeah.
For registration, is it pre-registration, day of? Like, how does that work?
Okay, so the only pre-registration that I do is for the RVs.
Okay.
And that I did pre-registration before, and there was a couple years we had numbers, and there was a couple years where it was, I'm not gonna say a waste of time, but more or less a waste of time. So same thing. If you're not gonna be able to come, I hate to have to refund and do all that. So we just keep it all pay at the gate.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So the event, the times listed, I think on the event page was 9 to 6.
Yeah. So per the county, I have to put times on it.
Sure.
But when I open the gates Monday morning, they don't close until the next Monday. So it's 24 hours. And there's a security shack up in the front. When you first roll into the property, there's a security shack there, and I have a guy that's there 24 hours a day.
Okay. So even for spectators, I mean, like you had mentioned, they can come and kind of mingle and just and hang out with you guys. So they're free to stay as well.
Oh yeah. Now,
nice.
if they're going to be camping, we issue out wristbands. So there's 2 different color wristbands: green for camping, red for spectating. So come middle of the night, we catch a couple wristbands walking around that per se shouldn't be there. We're going to be like, hey, why don't you kick a couple extra dollars in, since you've abused what we have given y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. So we covered a good spectrum of the event,
yes,
the experience. Let's talk about the charity part of it. I mean, it's a badass show. You're putting together an event for car, truck, motorcycle people.
Yes.
Let's talk about the charity. So, just get into that. I know there's the book bags, and it's huge.
When I first started doing the event, and this gets back to, the whole lines of paying yourself and everything, I couldn't figure out how we were going to give back. I'm not the type of person, and I don't knock anybody that does anything. This is just my personal belief. I'm not a fan of blindly giving money to a foundation without seeing direct results. And it's nothing against anybody. That's just me. So we work with the local school system here. We live in Caroline County. I live 3 miles from the show field, which is super nice. But it's a very poor county, in hindsight. Like, time is just now catching up around here. We're starting to build up and get things. But the school system around here suffered really badly. And I have nieces and nephews that went to school around here. And, and I've seen it. And I was like, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to challenge all the clubs. Instead of seeing what club brings the most amount of members, no, it's going to be the club that makes the biggest donation. And I want to say for the last 3 years, Bonsai worldwide, they've come out from, they donate 300 to 400 book bags a year. But the one thing about the book bag, there's a catch. If it's an empty book bag, it doesn't get counted. It has to have some sort of school supplies in it, whether it's a pack of paper, pencils, some form of school supplies, because the book bags help out, but the teachers come mid-year, they struggle because they're depleted of supplies and materials to keep their education system going. So, that's the way we do it. And most of the guys, they get full kit-ready book bags where you grab and goes. The kid can get one and then boom. And it was just, my way of making sure and seeing that all the kids had an ample opportunity at a proper education. I think that's one of the most important things that we have going for us now is our next generation is just not educated where they should be. And a lot of it, comes from poverty, troubled homes and stuff like that, not having what they need to excel. It could be as simple as a piece of paper and a pencil.
Absolutely.
It could help a child.
You guys did it was 1,500 book bags last year.
So last year, I want to say because I donated, we started collecting so much, so we started splitting it. So I work with the Twisted Foundation, which is also Twisted Concepts guys out in Indiana. They do their big toy drive and everything come December, awesome time. So I asked them, hey, is there anything that we can do for y'all? And they'd mentioned book bags because they do a school supply drive themselves. So I was like, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to fill a minivan with book bags and I'll see y'all in December. They thought I was joking until I showed up and dropped 700 book bags in their facility. And then we donated another 1,100 to Caroline County school system.
Okay.
But we've donated over 10,000 book bags to Caroline County in 6 years that we've been doing it, 7 years that we've been doing it.
That's awesome.
Like
Good for
every
you guys.
year, we've at least had 11 to 1,500 book bags to distribute.
That's awesome.
Oh man, it's so rewarding. And the cool thing, like I was talking about, the direct impact, I've seen it. Like when I've gone and seen kids in schools, I know the book bags that they're carrying, because we've donated those book bags. Like that fills my heart more than just blindly handing somebody thousands of dollars. Granted, it's going to go to some form of good, but I got to see this good.
Absolutely.
And it's awesome. 2 years ago, no, last year, we won Business of the Year for Caroline County, which was insane because I didn't even put myself in the running. The girls that we donate book bags to, they blindly fought for me. And there's another little group around the area that does kind of the same thing, but this is their job. This is what they do day in, day out. So and not knocking them at all one bit, but we're a bunch of dirtbag mini truckers that get together 1 week a year. But it was super cool to take those awards over top of the sheriff's department, over top of these other foundations.
Yeah.
Like when the ladies came by and they dropped the awards with me, I broke down in tears because it was never my intentions to have anything.
Not expected.
Yeah, man. I came from a poor home and a poor life myself, and I know how it affected me. So if we can give back in some way, just so that way, just to not have a kid harbor those kind of feelings, anything. Yeah. So, this year,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bub.
No, I was going to get into the details of the show, like where can people find more details of the show, but please finish your thought there.
Oh yeah, but this year we've also done in years past with book bags, we've doubled up. We've done book bags. 1 year we worked with a foundation in Richmond, Virginia called the Period Patch. So this lady goes around and donates female hygienic product or stuff, tampons in hindsight.
I got 2 daughters. Yeah,
exactly. I do too. All about it.
Yep.
So she goes around to all the really bad areas in Richmond and makes sure that all the women have what they need.
Good.
So I think that year we donated like 20,000 tampons.
And this is outside of the show.
Yeah.
This is just something you guys are doing to help the community continue to help.
That was just, we use the show as our leverage to be able to make it happen.
Got it.
Yeah. And this year we're teaming up once again with the guys in Twisted Foundation. We're going to collect toilet paper, because they work with a homeless center out there too. And that's one of the biggest things they need the most. Because I asked them, I was like, I know we do the book bags. What else can we do to help y'all? And they were like, man, we need toilet paper. And I was like, we're on it. We're
awesome.
on it. So we're gonna see if we can get a van full of toilet paper to take to Indiana this year. Good
for you guys. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I love being able to help out. I don't like to be
It's a good feeling.
I mean, it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
It means more to me than any dollar that's ever came from the event.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it's motivation. And like I always tell everybody, like, you got to find something to fill your time, you know, and just to get up in the morning and motivate you. And everything you've talked about will certainly do that.
Yeah. I am a super busybody. And another thing my wife can't stand because I don't sit still. You know, from the time my eyes open in the morning until I sit down and fall asleep in my chair in the afternoons, we're on the go. There's always something has to be done. You know, whether it's with the show, going to shows. I started Get Decked, my little side vending product. You know, working a full-time job. You know, not that it means anything. I have a disabled son also. You know, so it's just
you're busy.
I juggle a lot of balls throughout the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Drop some information on the show. Where I know you have the event page and website, and you know, how can people find out more?
I am super horrible when it comes to the social media world. So like, I need to get an Instagram started and I need to start a like page. But every year I've had the success I've had just for making an event page.
Okay.
An event page and posting on my own personal page is pretty much my two forms of marketing. And then
and I'll drop those. I'll drop those in the description so people, link and so people can find you guys.
And then the flyers, like everywhere. If somebody has ever gotten a flyer in their car, it's came from these two hands.
Yeah.
Like I don't have people that go out. Well, I can't say I don't. I've had people put flyers out for me, but most of the time, man, it's me and my wife and my daughter.
Grinding. We're out Good there for you guys.
Yeah, grassroots, man. We're just out there killing it, and it's over 12 years. We've got to where we're at because of it. Yeah,
and build a reputation. That's absolutely.
It was a long road getting where we're at. You know, 12 years has been awesome, but it didn't come without a lot of work.
Yeah. Let's talk about the staff behind the event. Like, how many folks do you have? You mentioned a security booth, and so
like we don't really have the staff I probably should. So I was a member of Sunset Virginia now, so I'm still very close with a lot of those guys. Those guys handle my judging every year, so that's their job. When they show up, they judge. That's it. But other than that, my wife runs registration. I'm around hosting, getting everything set. I have a little brother, Justin, between cooking, doing his vending thing. You know, he helps us, get trash up. And then I've got another guy named John Brady. He's a part of Dysfunctional is now his club. He comes down and helps me. He was in Philly. Now he's moved to Florida. And then a couple other guys in his club come up and help me out too. And then, like I said, I have the one guy that's up in front doing security. But other than that,
that's a good amount, though. It adds up, right? Yeah, I mean, you have a nice crew there.
I think there's probably 15 of us.
Yeah, in total. That's a good-sized crew.
But, everybody knows their job. That's the great thing about it. It's not like I have to run around and be like, I need you here, I need you there.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, man, when they show up, they already know their post, man. They hit their post, and that's just it.
That's awesome. Let's talk a bit about the vendors coming out. Type of merchandise are going to be there, that kind of thing, giveaways.
Oh man! So there, of course, the king, the reign supreme, Drop'emware. Drop'emware has been with us every year. This event. When I first decided I wanted to do an event, John Beebe was the first person to hit me up and was like, "I got your back. Whatever you need, we're going to do it." So, of course, Drop'emware. They're celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. John's been a little quiet about it, but I'm going to hype it up super huge, man.
Right on.
I've been doing this for 30 years.
It's a long time.
I even told John when I first got into it. I thanked him for all the hard work and time that he put in because it made the way for me to become a shirt vendor and selling skateboards and stuff like that. Like I watched him for years and was like, okay, cool. This is what I want to do. George and Kim Dean are coming down from Pennsylvania with Driven.
Yep.
They've been with me for years. Kim Dean is one of the sweetest individuals you'll ever meet. She shows up to our event every year and hands me a cold sweet tea and then has a full cooler full of sweet teas just because she sees me run around crazy. And during the event, I don't really take care of myself just because I'm in the heat of the moment, man. Boom, 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 boom. So she'll stop me and make sure that I've got something to drink. So it's super cool. We have another guy named Eric. I can't remember Eric's last name right now. He has Roland Reckless. He's got a beautiful C10. He's going to come down with his brand set up. We have Jack's Wax of Culpeper. They're going to have a huge setup also. We have Malloy's Barbecue coming out from Knoxville, Tennessee. JJ Snack Shack, which Fredericksburg native, that's my little brother. He wanted to get into vending, so we put him on last year. He didn't know what he was doing, but we set him up and he killed it. He absolutely killed it. He worked. Good. He was cooking until 1:00 in the morning. He kept the line, which is awesome. I'm super stoked. We have another lemonade vendor. He really doesn't have a name. The gentleman's name is Michael Sprouse, but he has multiple different flavored lemonades. He just lemonade, so something to quench your thirst. We have another lady named Jamie. She's come out with the Pony Espresso. So she makes coffee in the morning. She also makes fruity drinks throughout the day. Always got to have a good hydration vendor. People where you can get something to drink. Food's Absolutely. Good, but if you ain't got something to drink, man, it can get hot out there sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Some more of the vendors. Thunder Swamp Diecast. He comes up from Mount Olive, North Carolina every year, and he's got 20 to 30,000 Hot Wheels that he sets out. And super cheap too. So I do a lot of business with him. So is my son. My son burns me up every year buying Hot Wheels.
Right on.
Let's see some more of the other vendors. I know I have them. I just don't have my list in front of me.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. And again, we'll lay all the vendors, zap that list over, and I'll put them in the description of the video.
I have a pizza guy coming out with a wood fire pizza truck this year. This will be a first for us. I've wanted to get a pizza guy out every year. And it's hard. You think with the world of food trucks we live in, it would be easy to get guys to come out. But a lot of these guys with food trucks, they got busy schedules. They stay working, which it's awesome. I love to see that because working in the wrap shop, we do a lot of food trucks. We have tattoos. Also, I have 2 different tattoo shops. Matter of fact, they are our title sponsors for this year. All In Tattoo from Fredericksburg and Ink Cave from Fredericksburg. They'll both be set up on site tattooing. We have
right on.
Yeah, we have a building on the property that's all air conditioned, nice, clean inside building. So we set that up inside. It's a tattoo shop, and it's also
that's wild.
Yeah, if it gets a little too warm out, it's a place where you can find sanctuary. To get some air conditioning, get a little freon poisoning. But also the one tattoo artist, Travis Howard, he also does airbrush tattoos for the kids.
Cool.
So, and it's super cool. Another one my son burnt me up with last year, but he was covered in tattoos. But it's super cool because it's all washable ink, so it comes off when they take a shower at night.
That's awesome.
Let me see. I don't think I'm missing anybody right offhand. We have the graffiti guys. So I set up a 8-foot tall, 40-foot long graffiti wall every year, and we have graffiti artists come down and they tag the wall up. Every year. I'm not gonna say we've had someone different, but the last 3 years we've used someone different each year just to chop it up some. I use the same guys. I had a crew from Philadelphia come down for 5 years and did the walls for me. They're phenomenal. They're amazing writers, but they're very secretive guys.
Sure.
They don't want their known who they are kind of deal.
Where does that wall go afterwards when it's done?
So the first few years that I did the wall, I actually built a wall, plywood, 2x4s and everything. Well, then I got smarter. So I work in the graphic design shop. I can get an 8-foot roll of banner material. If you flip it backwards and spray the backside, it holds paint very well.
Cool.
So it gave us the ability last year after the wall was done, we auctioned it off.
Right on.
Yeah. Other than that, all the other walls, the wrap shop I work at, we take them there and we hang them up because we have 20-foot ceilings. So we hang them up towards the ceiling. So around the perimeter of our shop is graffiti walls from years past.
Oh, that's cool.
It's super cool. It makes our shop look really awesome. And the boss loves it. It makes his shop look a certain way.
That's cool.
But last year was the first year that we auctioned it off. So, the winner of it, they were able to take it home and then boom, you've got a big backdrop for your garage now.
For sure.
And one of the guys, they just had their show last night, Creatures of the Night. Shane Kreger, he's a part of Visual Reality. Shane's going to be doing the graffiti for us this year. He's got a beautiful little green hard body. Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm super excited. I've been watching Shane's work because he does a lot of mural work in stores and stuff. And I was like, man, what do I got to do to get you to come spray a wall for us? And he's like, I'm there. I was like, man, that's spectacular. And Shane saved me last year. I ran out of gas on the way to Carlisle. I was 10 miles from Carlisle in the back country. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stand right here on the side of the road. Someone going down this road is about to know me. 5 minutes later, here comes Shane. He passed me. And he was like, are y'all good? And I was like, man, I ran out of gas like a fool. He was like, what? So he went up and got us gas and came back and saved us, got us to Carlisle.
That's cool.
Yeah, man,
that's cool.
It's a super small community. Well, mini trucking's big. Mini trucking's everywhere. But if you really boil it down, we almost all know each other.
Absolutely.
We've been doing this for a life, especially the guys that are 15 plus years in. We've traveled state to state. We've been doing this for this is our hangouts, when we get to see our friends as CarShowz.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the truck that you used to actually promote the attitude check. So the One Day Slam, I see a truck rolling in with the U-Haul box on the back. That truck, do you still have that? You still use that?
So this last year, the last couple years, I killed myself beating up and down the road because like one year I drug that truck everywhere I went just because. What a great piece of advertisement. You got a whole U-Haul box wrapped. And then
let's talk what year, what body, how did that truck come about?
All right. This is a funny story. So it's a 1981 Ford Courier. The very first year I did the show, it came to my show. A gentleman named C.T. Bowen used to have Beefcake Customs.
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't own it then?
No.
That was C.T.?
Yep. C.T. bought it. So when C.T. got it, C.T. was the second owner of the truck. He bought it from a dealership in Gloucester, Virginia. Little backstory, the gentleman that bought the truck brand new in 81, drove it till 2011, took it back to the exact same Ford dealership he bought it from, and turned it in for a new truck. So it was sitting there, and they were like, okay, cool, it's used. We're going to sell it. He bought it, brought it out to the show. I fell in love with it. I've always loved those Couriers, man. They remind me of my grandmother. She had a couple of them, so it was more a nostalgic thing. So I started beating him up, and I was like, what is it going to take to get this truck, man? Oh, it's really not for sale. It's not for sale. And then he hits me up, and he was like, you still want this truck? I was like, I don't have any money, but I got toys. What do you want to do? So I ended up trading him an AK-47 in a Walmart parking lot.
Oh, wow. Right on. When was that? What year was that?
2013. It was October. Because I seen the truck in August at our show, and then he hits me up in October. I jumped in the truck and we toured to Gloucester, Virginia, and I got it and I brought it home. I drove it it was my daily driver for 5-6 years at least. It's been totaled twice. I got T-boned on the passenger side twice, got paid out both times, kept the truck, fixed it. And then the second time I got T-boned, it tore the bed up real bad. Like the bed was super clean. I did a wood floor in it and everything. So I'd flipped the bed off of it and just rode it bedless for years. And I'm talking like I've beat this truck everywhere. I've been as far as Philly and as all the way down to South Carolina, almost Georgia with it. And driving it. Like this last couple of years, I started trailering it just because she's old and tired. When I put that U-Haul box on the back, she didn't like that U-Haul box much. But I did, we road tripped.
When did you do that? When did you put the U-Haul? Because I think I have pictures from Grounded from Life a couple years ago.
I think it was 2020 is when
that's no, 20,
yep. Yes, it was 2020. Yep, because I found a woman in West Virginia that had a complete Courier U-Haul. I didn't think about measuring wheelbase or nothing. I just went and got it. I was like, I'm having this truck. Well, I get it home. My truck was a short bed. That truck was a long bed. So we scratched our heads for a couple of weeks. We're like, man, how are we going to do this? Because the rear of my truck was rusted. The frame was about gone and everything. Well, the front of that truck was gone. So I was like, okay, I've got a good front half. That's got a good back half. Me and a guy named Webb Browning and Austin Fannin, we cut them both in half. We cut them right behind because there's carrier bearing. So we cut them on a 45 right behind that bed mount right there. Put a piece of 2x3 gusset on the inside, internal gusset, slid the truck together, welded it up, plated it with 1/4-inch plate. On the road I went.
Right on.
Oh yeah. And that's been almost 5 years ago now.
And even with that U-Haul box on there, you can't miss it. And especially with you put the show's wrap or whatever the flyer is on the side of it. It's a rolling billboard. You can't miss it.
No, and that's like right now it sits up at the corner where my shop's at. It sits on the corner of the busy road, just so that way when people are going by, there's a huge QR code on it too. So scan that QR and it takes you right to our event page.
Yeah,
well, that's what I did. I started doing our show, and then as soon as our show's over, I'll switch the wrap out for Rebellion, which is down in Richmond. A guy named BJ Anderson with Twisted Concepts. He hosts that show, so I help advertise for his show too, just because those guys, they're fucking amazing to me, man. Yeah. I love those dudes to death. Like that's even awesome. Though I'm not a member of TK, like I travel with those guys, I eat with those guys, like we do a lot with those dudes. Like they're amazing to our show.
That's awesome. Well, Joey, I appreciate your time. Like I said, I'll put links to the event page, and all the vendors, all the information. I'll put that in the description of the video. Is there any shout outs or any last words?
Not just shout out to everybody that has stood by us for 12 years. Like this has been a journey. You know, when I first got into doing this, I never thought I'd make 5 years. And then we made it past 5 and I was like, okay, cool. We're going to make 10. We made 10 and now our sights are set on 20.
So Attitude Check 12, August 12th through the 18th.
Yep, 12th through the 18th.
And it's going to be insane.
Oh, it's a great time every year.
Yeah. Joey, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us.
I appreciate you having me on, Jeff.
Thank you.